Welcome back, NASCAR fans. Chris here with Bombs Fantasy Sports to bring you another DFS NASCAR preview show. This week, all three series, the Trucks, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and the Cup Series, head to Bristol Motor Speedway, or if you're into nicknames, the Last Great Coliseum, Thunder Valley, the world's fastest half mile, or the Bristol Bull Ring, whichever one you prefer. The track is a .533 concrete oval, 24 to 30 degrees of progressive banking in the turns. Going back to 2022 when the next gen car was introduced, Bristol has been Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin Playground in the Cup Series. They've won 4 of the 6 races at Bristol during that stretch. Now, everything gets going on Friday afternoon with the truck practice and qualifying at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, then followed by the truck race at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and then turn into Saturday, we've got the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series practice and qualifying 2 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Cup practice and qualifying at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and then the Cup Series race on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And for that one, we will also have a live show Sunday morning, which we'll be looking at practice qualifying data. We'll update our fantasy matrix, all of our models, and we'll talk about some of the top plays and build some lineups going into that race. But we're going to get started this week. We are going to have a look at each series. We're going to look at the cheat sheet for each series, each race. We're going to look at the drivers. We're going to preview some track history, track type history, look at some trends, and then move on to each other series, and then we will wrap things up here. So first up, we have got the Truck Series, and it is flooded with Cup Series drivers this week. We got Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Carson Hocevar, Chase Briscoe, Ross Chastain, Ricky Stenhouse, and Daniel Suarez in the trucks this week. Pretty balanced pricing given that there's that many Cup drivers, so lineup builds could be very interesting. We're going to have to wait and see how that pans out with practice and qualifying, but right there at the top, as you would expect, Corey Heim. He has finished third or better in 3 straight, and he's in top 10 in all 6 of his races here in the Truck Series with a win in 2023. Let's just go ahead and we will have a look just over the last 5 years. Let's go average finish. Kyle Busch has only been here once, but he finished second in 2024 in the spring race, so he shows up with a 2.0 average finish at the top. And then we've got Christian Eckes, who had coming in with 4 straight top 10s. He had a win in 2024 in that spring race, beat out Kyle Busch. That was very interesting race at the time. So he's right there in second. Corey Heim, we just talked about him. Carson Hocevar, it was a little bit up and down between 2020 and 2023, but he did have 2 finishes of 6th or better. So him at 9,700 could be a top player. We have to wait and see, again, how that practice and qualifying. Lane Riggs, you're going to want to pay attention to him. He has won 2 of the last 3 races here at Bristol and never finished outside the top 10 in his 4 trips. Daniel Hemrick, top 5 last year, 13th in 2025. Corey LaJoie, small sample, but he finished top 10 last year in the fall race. Ben Rhodes comes back with back-to-back top 5s. And then digging a little bit more into that track history, going to the track history tab here, and just looking at the previous finishes, correlation, double-digit place differential, where the lap leaders come from. We're going to have a look at that here a little bit as well. So it's very highly correlated to starting position. Of all 3 series, it is the highest. 9 of the last 10 races have correlated to 0.400 or higher. I'm usually only looking for like a 0.25 or a 0.3 or higher to say that it's very high track position type race. So seeing that, we're going to want to concentrate mostly on drivers that are starting, top 10, top 15, and we'll go over that a little bit more here as well as we get into more of this data. The winner has come from a top 10 starting position in 5 of the last 7, and the other 2 races were 11th and 18th starting position for that winner. Now, this is where it gets interesting, where we're really going to want to concentrate on the front of the pack in terms of starting position. The lap leaders over the last 10 years, and I'm just going to go over the lap leader. This information I will have down here, track facts, if you will, or track notes. I'll have this all added on here so you can see all of the lap leaders and where they started just in one little area. But what I wanted to go over was the lap leader, the driver that led the most laps every race. We'll start with 2025, the fall race, 122 laps from second. The spring race, 127 laps led from third. Fall race in 2024, 80 laps from 18th. And those 2 races last year, plus the 2024 spring race, those 2 races here at Bristol in the Truck Series had 250 laps. All the other races had 200. So 2024 was 80 from 18th. So that was one of those that was outside of the top 10. In the spring race in 2024, the lap leader had 144 from first. 2023 was 150 from first. 2022 was 89 from second. 2021 was 189 from first. 2020 was 117 from second. 2019, 78 from second, and 2018 was 104 from third. So outside of 2024 fall race, where the lap leader was starting 18th, the lap leader has started first 3 times and inside third in all those other races in 9 of those other races. So we're going to be looking at guys either on the front row or that second row um, for our lap leaders in this race. And we're generally seeing there's been 122, 110, in the fall race last year. The spring race was 127 and 85. The 2024 race, where we went down to 200 laps, there was 80 and 65 and 41. So we had 3 dominators in that race. 2024 one was 144 and 105. So generally, we're seeing 2 to 3 dominators, that's going to carry over through each and every series that we talk about here. But the key factor there was that our lap leader is coming from the front 2 rows, and more often than not, the front row. Very low double-digit place differential upside here. Over the last 10 races, we've only seen 4, 6, 3, 1, 7, 4, 7, 4, 5, and 3. So only 3 times has it gone over 5 drivers who have double-digit place differential upside. So definitely a track position race, definitely a dominator race. So that's what we're going to be looking for. Some track type history here, which covering I classify this as a short track under 1 mile that has banking of 20 degrees or more. So that includes Rockingham, Bristol, and I believe Dover, but the trucks weren't on there. So this is just a list of Bristol races and the 2 Rockingham races from 2025 and 2026. And then we've got some season form. Who's coming in hot? Well, Kyle Busch leads the average finish this season. He's only got 1 race. He did happen to win it. Right behind him, Ross Chastain, 1 race, finished top 5. So he's right there. But Corey Heim has been the leader. Not eligible for the championship, but he is eligible for points in the series now. He's got 2 wins in his 3 races, all 3 of those races inside the top 5. He's also leading the series with 212 laps led. Christopher Bell, 1 race, was a top 10, so he was 6th in that race. Other Truck Series regulars, we got Chandler Smith. He's got a win, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, 6.4 average finish. Caden Honeycutt having a really good year, 3 top 5s in the 5 races and 4 of those races inside the top 10. Him and Chandler Smith are the only 2 drivers to have top 10s in 4 of the 5 races. Ruggiero right behind. He's got 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. Eckes, 2 top 5s, and then other drivers. Lane Riggs has got a win, 2 top 5s. Majeski and Rhodes each have 2 top 5s in there as well. So the Truck Series is going to be very interesting. Just to recap here, we are looking for dominators. We're looking for those dominators to come mostly from the front row, and we're looking for about 2 or 3 of those dominators. And we're going to, we're not going to be building necessarily around place differential. That's really going to be the story that's going to be told after qualifying. All right, so now we will jump into the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And as you can see, we've only got 2 drivers in the Cup Series. In this race, Kyle Larson, 15,500. That is even more than we've seen Kyle Busch's price get to when he was kind of in his prime and racing a lot in the O'Reilly Auto Parts and the Truck Series. He raced here in the spring last year, dominated that race, led 276 laps. Right behind him, no doubt, Justin Allgaier. He won here in 2023. He's finished 6th or better in 3 of the last 4 and top 10 in 6 of the last 7. So it's we're going to be coming down to a decision here again this week. If we feel, I think the only way that we can really roster Kyle Larson in this race is if he's dominant in practice, starting from the pole. And then I think, he could probably lead almost, probably 80% or more of the laps, and he would have to win at that 15.5. And we will break that down a little bit more using the DK Fantasy Matrix in chat once we see that practice and qualifying Saturday afternoon. We're going to sort by last 10 races here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts at Bristol. Carson Quapple here, 4th and 2nd in his 2 races last year. Connor Zilich, 5th and 12th at 12,000. So I'm not really, it's either Justin Allgaier and then coming down into the 9K range and pairing him with someone there, or it's going to be Kyle Larson and then dipping down, skipping over all of those guys and coming down. So that decision is still to be made. But Quapple at 9,700 here definitely makes sense. Harrison Burton was a little up and down, 26th in the spring, 7th in the fall. He hadn't raced here since 2021. Before that, when he was actually pretty dominant, he had 4 straight top 10s at the track. Brandon Jones has been very consistent here, 11th, 5th, 6th in his last three. Wrecked out in 2023, and then before that, he had a string of 4 straight top tens in there as well. Dean Thompson at 6,400. He's going to be one we're going to be looking at from a value perspective. Finished 12th and 10th. Justin Allgaier, we talked about 6th and 3rd last year. Wrecked out in the fall in 2024, but he won the 2023 race, so he's got really good track history. He has been the best dominator at this track. So we'll definitely want to pay attention to him as well. Like I said, the decision is going to come down to either Larson with a probably sub 9K balanced build and value build after that, or we're going to probably get Allgaier, and then we can probably with Allgaier we'll be able to reach into that 9K range. But again, we'll wait and see. Sam Mayer has also been pretty consistent here. 3rd in the fall race last year, 11th in the spring, 9th in 2024, and then 4th and 9th in 2022 and 2021. So also, all of these guys pretty much are going to have that inconsistent race. There's going to be those wrecks that happen. But we're looking for overall consistency when looking at those guys. Ryan Sieg down here at 7,300, someone that stands out. He had 4 straight top tens going into that fall race last year. He finished 23rd. So there's going to be some nice value plays down here. I think Kyle Larson, if he does start from the pool, it's going to not be too hard to be able to build around him in some lineups. We'll look at some track history here again from this in the same light as we did for the Truck series. It's even more highly correlated than the Truck series in terms of track position. The last 3 races saw a correlation of 0.685, 0.718, and 0.558. That is like extreme correlation for track position in those last 3 races. That's the 2 races last year plus the 2024 race. The winner has come from a top 3 starting position in 3 straight, all 3 of those, and come from a top 10 starting position in 8 straight. The lap leaders is spread out a little bit more. The pole, first of all, we'll go over the pole, who won the pole and how many laps they led. So we have 95, 276, 29, 109, 89. The pole winner in 2021 didn't lead any, and then the 2 races in 2020 was 126, 81. The fall race in 2019 didn't see the pole leader be a dominator, and then in 2019 only 25 laps. So coming from the front, definitely important here as well. The actual lap leader driver that led the most laps in each of those races came from 4th, 1st, 2nd, 10th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 10th, 2nd, 6th. So again, very highly correlated to qualifying position, which makes a lot of sense. It's very tough to pass at Bristol on green flags. So you're going to get those guys that are starting near the front be able to get out front, get that clean air, and lead as well. So it does have a little bit higher rate of double-digit place differential upside here. Outside of the 2 races last year that only saw 2 and 4 drivers, 6 total drivers pick up double-digit place differential. But before that, it had gone 8, 6, 6, 7, 5, 10, and 7 in terms of drivers with double-digit place differential. Looking at the track type history here, we've got Bristol, Dover, and Rockingham in this classification going back to the start of 2024. Kyle Larson, with that 1 race, won at Bristol, so he's at the top. Connor Zilic, 4 races, has a win, 2 top 5s. He is 2nd in average finish, tied with Carson Quappel here. No wins, but he's got 3 top 5s and a 8.0 average finish. Brandon Jones, consistent. He is the only driver that's finished inside the top 20 in all 6 of those short, steep races. Jesse Love's got a win, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Tied with him in top 10s and top 5s would be Sheldon Creed. He's got 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s as well. Justin Allgaier, like I said, outside of Kyle Larson, has been the dominator on these short, steep tracks. And then not far behind, you got Zilic and Sam Mayer leading 100-plus laps there, each of them. Now, looking at the 2026 form, we've got Kyle Larson right up there at the top. He's got 2 races, both inside the top 5, 4th at Darlington, 1st at Vegas on those intermediates. So now he'll take on Bristol, where he's dominated. So I'm not expecting that to change a whole bunch there. Jesse Love doesn't have a win this year, but he's been very consistent with 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and leads all the regulars with a 7.0 average finish. Justin Allgaier is sneaking up on him in terms of average finish, just 0.1 behind, with his 3 wins, 5 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. Sheldon Creed's got that win. He's been consistent as well with 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 7.7 average finish. 2 drivers at 8.7. The only other 2 drivers below 10. They both have 6 top 10s, is Sammy Smith and Corey Day. Sammy Smith edges him out just a little bit in terms of top 5s with 4, and Austin Hill's got a win. Other than that win, though, he hasn't been extremely consistent like we've seen in previous years with just 2 top 5s. One of those obviously being the win, and then only 4 top 10s. So he's kind of on that bottom tier of those top tier drivers. All right, so we're going to pop over to the Cup Series sheet now and have a look at that. Leading the way in pricing this week, fairly balanced here. We've got 5 drivers above 10K. We've got Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin in the 11K range. Like I talked about, they have been kind of the class of Bristol recently. They both crashed, or they both had issues. I believe Hamlin had a tire fall off and cause a wreck and ended up 2 laps down after his penalty last year and finished 31st. Kyle Larson struggled a lot with 32nd, but they have both have had back-to-back wins, and 4 of the last 5 wins have come from the 11 and the number 5 team. Um, Kyle Larson was actually, I wrote him up in my article over on, I'm just going to bring it up here for a second, over on Fantrax, NASCAR DFS Food City 500 preview. I talked about Kyle Larson on that, or in that article, and how he was consistent when he was with Chip Ganassi. But after Hendrick Motorsports signed him, he's been absolutely dominant this track. He leads all drivers with 3 wins since he's joined Hendrick Motorsports in 2021, and he had a streak of 6 straight top 5s with those 3 wins as well before he had issues last year and finished 32nd. So those 2 are kind of the dominant factors. And then below them in salary, we've got Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, and William Byron in the 10K range. Blaney has 3 straight finishes of 6th or better. Bell has been extremely good. He won the fall race here last year, and he's got a streak of 6 straight top 10s with 4 top 5s in that time as well. So he's been very, very good. The best average finish in the next gen car here over the 6 races during that stretch at Bristol. Dipping down into the 9K range here, we've got Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Joey Logano in that range. Logano is coming off a 5th, but he was very, very inconsistent before that. Can that uptick continue? I'm not real sure. He wasn't consistent. He hasn't been consistent in the next gen era. He hasn't been consistent on short, steep tracks. He's a much better racer on flat tracks. We know that when we're talking Martinsville, we're talking Phoenix. So not really going to be looking towards him at this point. He also hasn't had the greatest start to the season either. Ty Gibbs has been red hot coming in. He's been very good at this track as well. Top 15s and 5 straight with 4 top 10s and 2 top 5s during that stretch. He's also got 4 top 5s in his last 5 races. He's absolutely been red hot. He is due for his very first Cup Series win, and I think it could come as early as this week. So if you want to put some money down before we see practice and qualifying, I imagine that number is probably going to go up as well. So. And just a reminder as well, if you want to head over and check out the content on Pit by Numbers, the intelligence library, you're going to want to go check that out. We've got a Bristol preview of the betting. We've got the live odds boards up here as well. So you can go and preview that. Amazing site. And I mentioned this at Martinsville. We had a week off. So I just wanted to mention it again, that this pitbynumbers.com, excellent site to do research, practice notes, as well as all his betting card. And the thing that I really like looking at instead of just bouncing between sites is you can compare the number if you want to shop around between DK, FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, and I think that's Bookmaker. Not 100% sure there, but we've got 5 different books up here. It shows you the best odds, the best site to go to get the best odds on every driver. Excellent for shopping around to get those odds each and every race. So make sure to go check out pitbynumbers.com and check them out on Twitter too, at pitbynumbers. Tons of information shared on social media. You're probably going to want to set up notifications for that account as well. All right, so moving on back into the Cup sheet here. Going to go over some track history notes. Correlation has been very up and down in the Cup Series, and that alone has been highly correlated to cautions. In the 3 years, the 2025 spring, 2024 fall, and 2023 races with very high correlation to starting position, we saw just 14 combined cautions in those 3 races and 10 or fewer lead changes in each of those races. In comparison, the other 3 races, we saw 34 total cautions. So that goes from 14 to 34, and a combined 102 lead changes. Absolutely insane. what we see. So that kind of tells us if there is going to be a lot of cautions, a lot of wrecks that go on, we're likely going to see, a winner could come from outside the top five, outside the top 10. We see more of a variance race when in terms of looking at, say, like a Atlanta, Talladega, or Daytona. And in those other races, that is where we see like the less chaotic, clean races, we'll call them. In two of those three clean races, a driver has led 400 plus laps in those races. So which one are we going to get this week? It's very tough to tell. We're just going to have to wait and see, kind of see how it plays out in terms. If we usually see, to me, when we see good drivers with fast cars in practice who maybe miss it on qualifying, and we have multiple good cars starting outside of 20th, starting outside of 25th, that usually tends to lead to those chaotic races because you've got good cars trying to get by slower cars constantly because they don't want to be lapped. The back of the field gets lapped pretty quick on a half-mile track when you're looking at like 29, 30-second laps. So keep that in mind as well. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more on the live show on Sunday and how we think that race is going to play out based on where some of those top cars are qualifying. So yeah, we've seen in the next gen era, there's been a driver to either lead 400 plus laps or multiple drivers to lead 100 plus laps in all six of those races. Both the 2022 and 23 races saw three drivers lead 100 plus laps. So mega dominator race, we're going to want 2 to 3 for sure that we're going to be targeting. Now, in terms of the lap leaders, it's a little bit different than we've seen with trucks and qualifying in terms of where all the lap leaders come from. But when we're looking at just the one that led the most laps each and every race, it has gone fourth, third, second, third, and first. So again, we're going to want that lap leader. Our mega dominator has come from third and second in 2025 spring race, 2024 fall races when we've seen driver lead 411 and 462 laps. Both times came from second and third. And then when we talked about those two races where there was multiple drivers three drivers to lead 100 plus laps in 2023. It was first, second, and eighth. In 2022, it was 20th, eighth, and 10th. But the pole sitters usually get out there, and we haven't seen the pole sitter outside of 2023 be the lap leader. And the pole sitter actually, over the years, didn't show up in the fall last year, only led 39, which was third most in the spring race. In the 2024 fall race, was second with just 34. That was the race where there's 462 laps from second. And we can see that over here. That is a 2024, flip back here. Sorry for that. 2024 fall race is where Kyle Larson led 462 laps from second. And then Denny Hamlin won from third in the spring race of 2024. From third, he led 163. And then Ty Gibbs led 137 from 19. So it was a very good race for Ty Gibbs from that result. He had a very fast car there as well. In terms of place differential, we have seen some place differential, and like I said, it is very highly correlated to the cautions and those chaotic races. In the two races that was very high correlation, where we've seen the drivers lead 400 plus laps, very few cautions in that race. We only seen 5 and 3 drivers lead, get double-digit place differential. And in those other two races, we've seen 10 drivers 3 times in the last 6 races in the next gen era. We've seen drivers lead. And those were, again, the highly chaotic, high caution races. That's where the double digit place differential comes in, which again makes it harder because with all those races, you not only do you have to dodge those, but you really need the double digit place differential from the drivers that stay out of those wrecks. So those races become a little more volatile. I'd rather have a nice clean race where we get that high dominator, although ownership is bound to change with that as well. So we'll discuss that a little bit more on Sunday. The other thing that we're going to do here before we wrap things up is look at some of the optimal lineups and how the lineups were built. So like I do every week, I look at all the optimal lineups from the next gen era at every track. So we've got 6 to kind of look at this week. So the fall race last year, where we had 2 dominators in here, 3 dominators if you want to count Keselowski at 33. Very good race from him, finishing second. Almost got to that win. But what we see in terms of lineup construction here, we've got a lot of double-digit place differential. We've got 5 drivers. One of them was also a dominator. 2 technically were dominators. You want to count, again, Keselowski. But we had 3 drivers from that upper tier. Let's just say the top 10 in pricing, because it's usually about 86, 8,700 is where that cutoff is of those top 10 drivers. So we've got 3 drivers in that top 10 with Briscoe, Gibbs, and Joey Logano. Then 2 drivers in the 5K range and 1 in the 7. spring race last year where Kyle Larson dominated. We had this was heavy top end with Kyle Larson 11,000, Ryan Blaney 10.5, and then we had Ross Chastain in there as well, who picked up 28 place differential at 8,600. And then we fit that with three 6K drivers. So three at the top, three at the bottom, very stars and scrubby there as well. And this trend continues on. We look at the Kyle Larson from the fall race in 2024, super dominator. There was only two double-digit place differential, three drivers above 9K, including Larson at 10.5. And then we had 1.7, 1.6, and 1.5. Spring race 2024. We had two dominators at the top. We had one from 11.2, 88, and 98, and then we had one in the 8K range, 6 and 5K. So pretty much this is trending again. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell at 10.8 and 11.2, which this one didn't have three near the top. So this was the first one going back. So that's the fifth race back. Two in the 7, one in the 6, and one in the 5. And then very similar here in 2022 as to 2023 with two over 10K and then three in the 6 and one in the 5. So for me right now, before we see practice and qualifying, what I'm looking for is from this, let's just say, well, we can include Tyler Reddick in there. He would be the 11th most expensive driver. But in this range, we are going to need, I'm going to say three total drivers from this range and probably two from the 10K plus range is what we're going to be looking at from our, projected core build for this race. And then I've now got current form last 5 races included into the form calculation in our model. Now that we are 7 races into the season and looking at some of that current form, I talked about Ty Gibbs earlier. He's got 4 top 5s in his last 5 races, 5 top 10s. He leads all drivers with 4.6 average finish, so that win is definitely coming. Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney each have a win, 4 top 10s. Denny Hamlin has him edged out with 3 top 5s, tied with Christopher Bell for the second most top 5s behind Gibbs during that time. Christopher Bell doesn't have a win, but he's been consistent. 7.0 average finish. William Byron right there with him as well. And then Tyler Reddick's still hanging out there with 2 wins. Those are his only top 5s over the last 5 races. He's got one other top 10 during that time. 7.6 average finish. And then rounding out drivers that are 10 average finish or better. We've got Chase Elliott, who picked up his first win of the season. He's got 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s in there as well. Kyle Larson's been consistent. He's on I believe it's a 31 race winless streak. I think that could definitely come to an end this weekend. I could see him dominating, probably the O'Reilly and the Cup Series. I think he could win both of them this weekend. We're just going to have to wait and see on that, but maybe a bold statement. I don't know. But that's kind of the way I see all 3 series. Now, like I said, you're going to want to join us on Sunday morning. We do a live show. We talk about practice qualifying. We go over the fantasy matrix, the updated model, and start constructing our lineups and how those are going to play out. And if you want access to all 3 sheets this week, make sure to head over to patreon.com/JagerBombs and grab your NASCAR package. $15 a month gets you access to all 3 series each and every week. Discord channel, we've got all the stuff that I showed you on here, plus picks, scores, ranks, as well. And then if you play multiple sports, you can grab an all sports package for $25 a month, and that gets you 10 plus sports that we have cheat sheets, Discord channels, stats, trends, news updates, injury updates, you name it. Multiple coaches in our Discord as well, helping you out, build lineups, answer all the questions you can. And this week, our Truck Series sheet is actually free. So if you head over to patreon.com/JagerBombs, just sign up as a free member. You're going to see all the free sheets fed to you in your feed. And if you want to sign up for Discord, I will have that link in the video here as well, where you can jump in and grab a free trial in our Discord. And you'll also see those same sheets that we come up with, different information. Make sure to head over and check out that trial members chat. If you get into the Discord, that's where we post all of our free sheets, information for you to read. And then when we have a free sheet, we do open up those other channels for you to get in and see that information that's in there. You can see our winning picks from all of our members and our staff, our Jagerbomb Sportsbook, where we post bets, and then our all members chat and our trial members chat. Thanks for checking out the video, and good luck this week going into the weekend of practice and qualifying, and I'll talk to you Sunday morning for the Cup Series live show.